So we find ourselves here in Milwaukee. We've doffed our masks. We want to welcome everybody joining us at our very first, hopefully this won't be a repeat, virtual partnership conference. I'd first like to welcome everyone, and then second, I'd like to thank our sponsors. We appreciate your support. We couldn't have done this without you. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to Keith, our chairman of the board.
Good afternoon, or good morning to those of you that are in different time zones. My name is Keith Turtenwald. I'm the Vice President of Lincoln Contractors Supply, headquartered here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. LCS was founded in 1956 by Al Knief and Wilmer Ginther, and today we operate 10 locations throughout the state. We formed an industry alliance with the rental division of the Wisconsin Caterpillar franchise in 2001. Our companies work together under one roof, similar to that bank in the grocery store or that fast food restaurant in the gas station, providing a one-stop shop for contractors. The Cat people sell and rent aerial equipment, large air, and everything painted cat yellow, and we sell and rent most everything else. It's like a marriage of sorts where you have to communicate to work through some issues here and there, and for the most part, it's been a pretty good gig. We entered our third generation of ownership a couple of years ago. We're like so many others of you out there who are experiencing the graying of the workforce, be it distributor, manufacturer, or sales rep organization. Recently, we successfully made the transition where our 20, 30, and 40-year-old employees now outnumber the 50 and 60-year-olds. So our company is headed forward with a younger crowd, as many in our ranks prepare for retirement. Obviously, the inexperience gap is greatened, but you have to start somewhere. Plus, we know we'll be leaning on the Evergreen training programs to bring everybody up to snuff. Looking back, like many in our industry, I'm sure, I got a part-time job at the local hardware store when I was in high school. It was a true value. I worked nights and weekends, summer vacations and holidays, learned a lot from my manager, George, who always fake complained when I needed to arrange my work schedule around those after-school activities. He'd always ask me, "Do you want a job or not?" After graduation, I attended a local college and commuted from my home, or rather my parents' home. Breakfast every morning and a home-cooked dinner every night. Plus, I got my laundry done for me. It was a great deal. I continued to work full-time at the hardware store, working around my school hours, adding the earnings to a small grant to pay for my schooling. That was the deal with my folks. I could live at home for free, but the trade-off was that I paid for college. I repeat, breakfast and dinner, plus I got my laundry done for me. After the first semester, I switched from private college to public university because of the cost. After my second semester, the owner of the hardware store was opening a new location in Florida, and he asked a few Wisconsin employees if we'd be interested in relocating to help get that new location started. I was recruited, put school on hold, and spent the next 6 months 1,300 miles away from home setting up the new store, what I now affectionately refer to as the grunt labor months. But it actually was great experience for a 20-year-old away from home for the first time. 6 months later, I returned to Wisconsin after the Florida store opened, and forgoing a return to college, continued to work full-time at the same hardware store I started in. But now I'm in the big time as a department head, splitting my loyalties between the hardware and the paint departments. And I'm back in my parents' home paying room and board, but the same benefits as before. Several months or so later, I got a letter from one of the guys who moved his family to Florida. He decided he was moving back to Wisconsin after some failed promises. He planned to open up his own hardware store and asked me to manage it with him. I said yes, and I worked alongside Russ and his wife Karen for the next 9 years. I loved working in the hardware store. You were a hero every day. Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner came in, and if you were the first one on the key machine in the morning, the sound echoed throughout the store, and everyone shopping was reminded that, yeah, I should get some copies made. And you were making keys for the next hour, or two. More importantly, most of them worked. Or you matched the right color paint to a pillowcase that someone brought in, or you solved that nasty faucet drip question with a 29-cent washer, or you provided a widget or a what's-it and who knows what else, and you were a hero for doing so. You helped solve a problem. I even ended a customer family argument once, or maybe I added to the family argument. Mrs. Homeowner came in one day and asked me for a left-handed screwdriver. Now, I was in my early 20s when this happened, and it caught me a little off guard. I asked her if she and her husband had been arguing. They were regular customers. I knew them by sight, but not name. And she asked me why. First, I asked her if she wanted a slotted or Phillips screwdriver. Then I asked her what size. She answered the questions and I handed her the tool. She took it with her right hand. Then she asked me what makes this a left-handed screwdriver, to which I just shook my head and replied, "Put it in your left hand." She looked straight at me and said, "I'm going to kill him." I read the local paper and watched the news the next day because that's what we did before the internet and the 24-hour news cycle. And there was no story of a screwdriver-based stabbing in the neighborhood, so I assumed everything worked out in the end. It was at the hardware store that I learned that seasonal buying cycles worked about 6 months ahead, as you ordered the Christmas and winter goods in May and June, and the fertilizer and the lawn stuff in December and January. Heck, we were stacking fertilizer in the back room just after Thanksgiving most years. It smelled awful. Overall, I worked retail hardware for about 15 years, including my part-time days during high school, when one day one of the regulars came in and he asked me if I ever thought of switching jobs and handed me his business card. About 2 months later, at the age of 30, I started work for Lincoln Contractors Supply in a counter sales position. That was 34 years ago. Now at the time, I knew that contractors and builders had to purchase their goods somewhere, but I never really knew that contractor supply houses even existed. Never really thought about it. Didn't know anything about distribution, the industrial channel versus the retail channel. I learned all about that years later when I returned to night school and I got my associate degree in marketing and business management, which Lincoln helped me pay for with their tuition assistance program. Remember I remarked that you were a hero every day at the hardware store? You answered usually simple questions for Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner and you solved their problems with ease, well, most of the time. With contractors, I learned a different role. The contractor typically knew what he wanted. He might have called it something different than what you knew it as, but he knew what he wanted. He knew the dimensions, he knew the features and benefits, he knew the brand, he knew what color of the power tool he wanted. He knew how much it sells for and what he was willing to pay for it. Yeah, I know. But what's my price, right? All that but, he needed it yesterday. So now you're spending your day as a time merchant. Not quite the hero role that I was used to, although one could become that hero if time was on your side. And this is where you earn your stripes with the contractor customer. This is where honesty and integrity shine through. This isn't where you explain the poor planning on your part doesn't make it an emergency on my part speech. This is where you show him what you and your team can do. Meeting unrealistic expectations with practical applications and a yes we can or here's what we can do approach. No bluffing or BSing, just the hard, true facts, especially if you're an Evergreen Marketing Group member. You can point out that you represent the best of the best in the business, that the suppliers you deal with are the best of the best in their category. You can apply that Evergreen certified tool, safety, or operations specialist knowledge that you gained over the years and show that customer you actually know what you're talking about. I mentioned that the contractor customer probably already knows everything he needs to know about the product. Well, it's important that he knows you know too. And that makes all the difference to him or her. Only then can they trust you in following through with what they need or what they needed yesterday. And they'll come back again and again. Just keep doing what you say you're going to do. The next part of my rambling is a little reminder message that I feel needs repeating. It's something that everyone already really knows, and it follows a common sense approach to business. I wrote about it in my first Evergreen Update column when I became chairman last year. It's about communication and teamwork. Many of you may have read my column about how our business is like putting on a theater production. The actors on the stage do their thing while the tech crew behind the set do theirs. While the stagehands don't act, they know what's happening on stage and can probably recite the lines verbatim as well as or better than any actor. And while the actors don't physically cue the lights or the sound or move the curtains and the drops, they know when, where, and why they're supposed to happen. This all occurs because of excellent communication between the team. It's scripted, yes, but each set of individuals has specific tasks and they interact to produce the play. The play doesn't go on with only one side of the equation, and we've all heard the expression that the show must go on. In our business, I'd equate the actors to our outside sales staff. I'd equate the stagehands to inside sales, parts, service, rental, warehouse, delivery, office, and so on. You could probably make the case that counter salespeople are actors too, but for the sake of argument, let's agree that the support staff or the stagehands are everybody else. Who gets the glory here isn't the point. Our salespeople can dance the dance, recite the lines, and sing the tunes all day long with demos, on-site and office calls, troubleshooting. But if we're not working the ropes and the lights and the soundboard by servicing or renting the equipment, taking the orders, shipping the goods, processing the paperwork, invoicing the customer, etc., the whole production isn't being realized. That means that the customer, our audience, isn't being treated to the best production they've ever seen. And that's an important fact to remember. A show is repeated many times over during the course of its run, but the entire team needs to act as if each audience is seeing it for the first time. The cast and crew owe it to the audience to give it their best effort every time, even though they've done many performances. Every night is opening night. We all issue directives to the sales force to get the order or a line item challenge to increase the number of point of sale purchases. Just like at the concession stands where we ask, anything else? Or we're running a promotion with reduced prices the way that theaters sometimes run half-price ticket specials just to bring customers in. The show must go on. All of this works to perfection only if we remember to work as a team and communicate the strategies and opportunities to each other. Remember that everyone in your company is integral to the production. In closing, I want to take this opportunity to thank the entire Evergreen Marketing Group staff and my fellow board members for putting up with me, as well as helping me through my tenure. Thank you to Lincoln Contractors Supply, Norman and Aaron Knief, for giving me the opportunity to work for a class act low these many years. It's said that behind every strong man is a stronger woman helping him be the best he can be, and I have my wife Kathy to thank for that. Kathy, you are my life. I love you. And lastly, congratulations to the individuals and Evergreen members who will be recognized for achieving Certified Tool, Safety, or Operations Specialist status this year, as well as our Supplier and Distributor of the Year award winners, proving you are truly the best of the best. Now go be a hero. Thank you. With this, I'm going to turn things back over to Kevin.
Keith, great works.
Thanks.
Great remarks. Loved listening to that. 34 years
Yeah.
at Lincoln Contractors.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff.
And working for Norm.
Not going there.
Okay. Corona. 6 months ago, it was a fairly bad Mexican beer. Personally, I prefer Dos Equis. In a matter of weeks, it became the biggest challenge to our country and to the world. Personal habits had to change. Social distancing became a thing. Progress has been made, but that virus is not done with us yet. It has reminded us that there are things way beyond our control that can impact us and our businesses dramatically. We are now facing an adult portion of economic reality. We all got an abject lesson in how connected everything is. And we've learned that an international supply chain can really cause a lot of pain. Hopefully, we will address this as a country and bring more manufacturing back to the USA. Fortunately, in most markets, our businesses were considered essential and most were able to continue to operate. Now, it is not my intention to stand up here and cry about what's going on. You folks are living this every day. However, I do feel compelled to acknowledge that 2020 will be a difficult year. That said, the overall state of the organization is sound. We have ample reserves, an engaged board and staff, and a long-term view that guides us. We've taken steps to adjust to the new environment. Much of our training and leadership development program has gone virtual. We've pushed our summer board and member meeting to October as a way to eliminate a meeting and cut out some board expense. We've shelved plans to bring on an additional training staff, and we're making other changes to the operation to reduce expenses. Q1 2020 was down about 6.4% compared to the same period last year. That broke our streak of nearly 39 quarters of growth. Now, we knew that streak had to end at some point, just not by a virus. We'll keep you posted as we go through the year, but I did want to address the current situation. Now, most of you are aware that I announced my plans to retire in May of 2022. I've committed to the board to make myself available through the end of 2022 if needed. Last October, we brought a group of members to the Founders Training Center to discuss this transition and the future direction of the group. The assembled members represented anywhere from 75 to 80% of the total volume of the organization. And many of them were next generation leaders of their companies. We hired a facilitator to keep the group on track, and we focused on 5 key topic areas: industry consolidation and acquisition of members, people development, internet sales and technology, succession planning for the CEO, and our building. One takeaway from this exercise was that our next generation of member owners want us to double down on our efforts surrounding education. They want more diversity in our training, and they want more management type programming. And they want more of this delivered digitally. If there's one silver lining in this pandemic, it's that we've all learned how to do virtual meetings. Maybe too many virtual meetings. In fact, Evergreen hosted 30 virtual sessions in April and May alone. We had a lot of discussion around the topic of industry consolidation and membership in general. Obviously, industry consolidation is sort of like continental drift. You can't stop it, but you do need to watch it and put measures in place to monitor concentration and mitigate risk to the group. One thing that came out loud and clear was that the group should not lower our membership standards. On the subject of people development, we focused on 2 broad areas: recruitment and retention. One effort we've started centers on college recruiting. We are putting together a schedule of regional recruiting opportunities that we can share with our members. We've also recently announced a deal with a company called Acquire for Hire that works much like ZipRecruiter for members and preferred suppliers to use for job postings. In the area of retention, we feel the best bet is to beef up our training program with additional training paths such as HR, finance, operations, and leadership. Our discussions on internet sales centered on the growing trend of manufacturers selling direct to end users on the web. It's one thing to do this when a strict policy of no discounting is in force. It's counterproductive when a manufacturer discounts or offers coupon codes that impact distributor margins. We will continue to monitor this activity closely. Our overall discussions around technology focused on our efforts with LBMX. We discussed a centralized database of product information as well. Regarding a succession plan for me, we felt it was important to get the process started right away. The Evergreen board appointed a steering committee to drive that process, to review candidates, and then to make a recommendation. In late June, the succession committee completed their work and recommended Bill Ward to the Evergreen Board of Directors. The board accepted the recommendation and hired Bill as Executive Vice President, effective September 1, 2020. Many of you may remember Bill as Vice President of Sales for JPW Industries, during which time he also served on the Evergreen Supplier Advisory Council. Bill has also served in leadership roles at Propex, Intertape Polymer Group, Standard Abrasives, after beginning his career with Cooper Industries. For the past 5 years, Bill was co-founder and managing director of Forward Collective, a marketing and communications firm with clients in the construction and industrial markets. Bill and I will work together to ensure a smooth transition for him into the CEO role. As Bill gains experience with the group, there'll be a gradual transfer of responsibilities, and I will serve in more of an advisory role while focusing on our training program, the LBMX initiative, and other projects. We expect this process will take 12 to 18 months. The final discussion topic was our building. Having our own training center is a clear differentiator between us and other groups. Over the next several months, our intention is to decide whether we want to expand our footprint into space that we currently lease to others, as well as consider other options on how to manage this key asset of the group. Let me shift gears now and share some of the highlights from 2019. Total revenues were up 9.7% in 19 compared to the year prior. As a result of acquisition, 3 members left the group in calendar 2019. Fort Worth Bolt & Tool, CL Presser, DriveCore Incorporated. All 3, however, remain in the group as branch locations of an existing member. In addition, Fastening House resigned from the group at the end of 2019. Evergreen held 29 training events last year, which included 6 selling skills programs, 7 professional development programs, 13 product and application schools. In addition, we held 3 workshops on best practices in selling through independent distribution in Atlanta, Portland, and Dallas. We had a total of 596 participants this year, compared with 579 in 2018. We recognized 48 individuals from 18 member companies as Evergreen Certified Tool Specialists in 2019 during the partnership conference. Since the program was started, 391 individuals from more than 55 member companies have become certified. In addition, a total of 41 individuals have earned designation as Certified Operations Specialists, and 43 individuals have earned designation as Safety Specialists since those programs were established. Our Evergreen University, powered by Blue Volt, remains a strong part of our training program. Evergreen members completed a total of 38,909 courses on Blue Volt this past year and generated more than $100,000 in Blue Bucks. Evergreen also invested considerable effort in our LBMX technology initiative that was launched in late 2017. Progress is being made onboarding our preferred suppliers, and we expect to continue this through 2020 and on into 2021. We currently have preferred suppliers on board representing 85% of the total volume of the group. During calendar 2029, we processed over 208,000 invoices through the LBMX system. Through the end of May, we have processed almost 140,000 invoices. And just as of the first of this week, we have processed the same amount of invoices as we did in the entire 2019. The system works, and our members appreciate receiving invoices from multiple preferred suppliers in a single location. No more having to open multiple emails from multiple suppliers every day. It's easy to use and simplifies their internal processes. Deploying LBMX has also helped several members take their first steps towards doing full EDI with key preferred suppliers. In addition, we recently rolled out analytics, which will allow members to track trends by supplier and product category. If you are a preferred supplier and have not stepped up, I encourage you to do so. You do not want to be the last one to jump on this train. Before I close, let me suggest ways that you can more fully engage with the group on both the member side and the preferred supplier side. For members, here are a couple ideas to consider. Number 1, fully embrace training and education. Use all of your training funds every year. It makes a difference. Take advantage of what we're offering. It helps you retain employees and demonstrates that working for you can be a long-term, rewarding career. Number 2, really do planning for profit. Don't play lip service to it. Planning for profit works. It builds relationships. It grows your business. If you're too busy to plan, then I think you have to question where you're spending your time. 3, consolidate vendors and support preferred suppliers. This should be important to you, and it is crucial for the group. Set a goal each year to convert X number of lines into preferred suppliers. Use the planning for profit each year to get this done. Now for our preferred suppliers, here's a couple of ideas. Number 1, make Evergreen important to your company. Tie a portion of your field sales rep compensation to working with Evergreen members. Talk about Evergreen during every sales meeting or every conference call. Make sure your marketing and communications people are also plugged in. Treat us differently. We believe we deserve your best deal, not the same deal you give to other groups or the national players. If you don't believe this, you should really question why you're here. Number 3, take advantage of Evergreen resources. Run specials on our website. Post new product introductions. Provide content for online training. Now I recognize that this requires effort and resources. However, it amazes me how many preferred suppliers don't bother to do these very simple things. Some of you in this virtual room may feel that in these uncertain times, the best course of action is just to keep on, or to hunker down and don't make waves. If so, you are wrong. Now is the time to be different. Focus on things that will make you stand out from the crowd. Don't settle for sameness. Now is the time to stay positive and to find ways to better support one another. I want to thank you for your time and your ongoing support of Evergreen. We will be going into our awards and recognition session in the next minute or so. And I think, Keith, I'm going to toss the ball over to you.
I'll catch it. The next part of our program is intended to recognize the individuals and the companies who have made an important contribution to the Evergreen Marketing Group over the past year. First, let's recognize the 6 Evergreen founders. Bob Brady, Acme Construction Supply. Bill Grebe, Brock Tool and Supply. Paul Connolly, Construction Tools Service. Chuck Tackett, Dixie Construction Products. John Phillips, Phillips Brothers, and Bob Munson of Phillips, Day and Maddock. Next, we would like to thank the board and ESAC members who completed their terms of service this summer. Having to do this virtually really kind of sucks because these individuals went well above and beyond to contribute to the group. First, we'd like to recognize the contributions of individuals who will complete their service on Evergreen's Supplier Advisory Council. Our outgoing ESAC members this year are Jim Doherty of Aaron Rope Corporation and Bob Varzino of JPW Industries. Bob deserves special mention because he served a partial term and then agreed to a second full 3-year term. In addition, he served as chairman of ESAC for the last 2 years. Also, our manufacturer rep liaisons also completed their service to the group. Mark Harper of ML Harper & Company and Scott Bredemeyer of the Rennebaum Company. It's my pleasure to now recognize our departing board member, Leo Fay of Pro Tool and Supply. A great friend, Leo has done a great job on the board and served as chairman last year.
Keith, we'd also like to recognize you for your service on the board. I mean, you've had a tough year having to deal with this whole virtual thing and the pandemic, but on behalf of the group, please accept this token of our appreciation.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. Thank you. Now we'd like to recognize the preferred suppliers who have joined the group since the last partnership conference. They are Chem Masters and Just Right Corporation. Now let's take a look at the performance leaders in the organization. I won't read the names, but they'll be up on the screens. First, our top 20 members ranked by marketing allowance volume. Next, our top 20 members ranked by marketing allowance growth. On the supplier side, let's recognize our top 20 preferred suppliers by marketing allowance volume. And now, our top 20 preferred suppliers ranked by marketing allowance growth percentage. A few years ago, we began the practice of recognizing the top performers in the organization. We developed a process to recognize top performing companies using a system that takes into consideration a whole range of performance characteristics. I'm going to turn this section of the ceremony back over to Kevin.
As Keith was saying, the board wanted to develop a way to recognize the top performing preferred suppliers and member companies each year. So with this in mind, we developed a points-based system that provided each company with a specific number of points in various performance categories. For our Preferred Supplier of the Year awards, a total of 5 tiers have been created based on total sales to the group. Once divided into these tiers, each preferred supplier is awarded a specific number of points based on where they ranked in terms of overall volume, growth percentage, a member ranking survey, feedback regarding planning for profit performance, quarterly on-time reporting performance, support of our training efforts, and several other factors. We take a similar approach with members to determine the member of the year. This year, we've also divided the members into 5 tiers based on volume of purchases through the group. So now I'm pleased to recognize our preferred suppliers of the year. This year it was particularly tough, and the competition in all 5 tiers was tough. The top point getters listed alphabetically in Tier 1 are DeWalt Industrial Tool Group and Milwaukee Tool. Our winner this year, Preferred Supplier of the Year, Tier 1 is Milwaukee Tool. Congratulations, Milwaukee. Top point getters in Tier 2, listed alphabetically, are Greenlee Tools, Protective Industrial Products, Southwire Tools and Equipment, and Werner Co. And our winner in Tier 2 is Werner Co. Congratulations. In Tier 3, the top point getters were Diamond Products, Klein Tools, Louisville Ladder, Simpson Strong Tie. And our winner in Tier 3, Diamond Products. In Tier 4, our top point getters were Ames Companies, Freud America, Max USA, United Abrasives Sate. And our winner in Tier 4, United Abrasives Sate. In Tier 5, our top point getters were ERB Industries, Jobbox Apex Tool Group, Marshalltown Company, and Mighty M Corporation. And our winner in Tier 5, ERB. Congratulations, suppliers of the year. Now let us recognize our members of the year. Once again, we had a tough contest in all 5 tiers, resulting in a very tight race this year. The top point getters in Tier 1 are Acme Construction Supply, Acme Tools, Colony Hardware, and Total Tool Supply. And the winner of the Member of the Year, Tier 1, Colony Hardware. Another close race in Tier 2. Top point getters listed alphabetically: American Producers Supply, Edge Construction, Frank Supply, and Lincoln Contractors Supply. And the winner this year for Tier 2, American Producers Supply. Congratulations. Top point getters in Tier 3, Bluegrass Tool Warehouse, Dara Company, Dynamic Fastener, and Witten Supply. Member of the Year, Tier 3, Dara Company. Top point getters in Tier 4 are Insco Supply, Eric Savannah, Job Site Supply, and SDI Supplies. Member of the Year, Tier 4, Job Site Supply. Top point getters in Tier 5, Industrial Tool and Supply, Morgan Tool and Supply, Straight Line Contractor and Industrial Supply, and Whitehead Hardware. Member of the Year, Tier 5, Whitehead Hardware, division of Miller Hardware. Congratulations to all of our members of the year. Next, we want to recognize those individuals who have become Evergreen Certified Tool Specialists since the last conference. Before we recognize our Certified Tool Specialists, we want to first recognize the top instructors who earned this year's George A. Sheets Excellence in Education Award. Most of you know that George was a fixture in Evergreen's training program from the very beginning. So we honor him as well with this award. Throughout the year, we ask each student to grade each instructor on the quality of their classroom and their hands-on presentations. We expect every instructor to earn a 4.0 or better on a scale of 1 to 5. 2 individuals achieved the highest ratings from students this past year: Billy Vyers, Simpson Strong Tie, and George Wall, Eagle Industries. Thank you both for your personal commitment to our training program and your company's commitment to our training program. A couple of years ago, Acme Construction Supply established the Bob Brady Memorial Scholarship to recognize Bob's strong support of training and education throughout his decades-long career in the industry. Each year, we will identify an Evergreen member who demonstrates their support of our training and education program, and Acme will provide them with an additional $1,000 to support the training of their people. On behalf of Jordan Bader and the entire Acme Construction team, I'd like to present this year's Bob Brady Scholarship to Carson's Nut Bolt and Tool. Next, we would like to recognize the individuals and their companies who have earned certification. At the end of the ceremony today, we will have recognized 423 individuals from more than 50 different companies as Evergreen Certified Tool Specialists. In addition, we have more than 30 individuals who have earned their first or higher diamond level. We'll also recognize another 6 individuals as Evergreen Safety Specialists and another 7 individuals who have earned the Operations Specialist certification. We are proud of the fact that Evergreen offers the industry's only certification programs for sales, operations, and safety professionals. Let me briefly describe how each of these programs work. First is our Certified Tool Specialist program. To earn this designation requires successful completion of 137.5 hours of training in several key areas. Upon reaching the initial certification level, the sales professional will earn his or her choice of a championship-style ring or an executive-style gold watch. The member company receives a plaque listing the names of their employees who have attained certification. After earning initial certification, these professionals can go and progress through a multi-year program of continuing development that we call the diamond levels. At each level, the professional earns a diamond for their ring or their watch. And there are 9 spots for diamonds in both items. The next certification program is for operations people. This program requires individuals from the operations side of the business to complete more than 120 hours of training. The final recognition program was established to reflect the growing importance of safety products in our industry. Earning this designation as an Evergreen safety specialist requires completion of a set of courses focused on safety products and their applications. Again, like Keith said earlier, having to recognize these folks virtually is not the way we like to do it, and it really sucks. Typically, many of these individuals are at the live conference getting the spotlight they deserve as a result of their hard work and personal commitment. That said, let's first recognize our diamond recipients. Earning his 8th diamond is Eric Steinbrecher, Lincoln Contractors Supply. Earning their 7th diamonds are Jeff Johnson, Acme Construction Supply, Joe Rader, Acme Tools, Chris DeBalsi, Pro Tool and Supply, Kevin Dobson, Pro Tool and Supply. Earning his 5th diamond level is Matt Brevick of Acme Tools. Earning his 4th diamond level is Scott Peterson of Acme Tools. Earning their 3rd diamond level are Eric Schmitz, Acme Tools, Derek Smith, Acme Tools, Steve Bailey, Total Tool Supply. Earning their 2nd diamond level are Josh Rorich, Acme Tools, William Smith, Acme Tools, Arlen Van Beek, Acme Tools, and Keith Turtenwald of Lincoln Contractors Supply, as well as James Samuelson of Lincoln Contractors Supply. Earning their 1st diamond level are Mark Lindloff, Acme Tools, Jeffrey Carr, Colony Hardware, Matt Friedel, Colony Hardware, Brian Vaccaro, Colony Hardware, Dan Gust, Lincoln Contractors Supply, and Dan Steinbrecher, Lincoln Contractors Supply. Congratulations to each of you for not only earning initial certification, but continuing your education and earning diamonds as the years go through. Next, let's recognize all the companies and individuals who have earned tool, operations, or safety certification this year. We're going to recognize everyone by company. First, Acme Construction Supply had 5 individuals earn tool certification and 1 earn operations certification this year. Matt Adams, Trevor Brown, Clayton Johnson, Justin Johnson, Michaela Souza, Danny Weichel. Acme Tools had 8 individuals earn tool certification and 1 earn operations certification this year. Chris Arcand, Gabe Bodek, Sam Kinney, Troy Kirsch, Ray Lakoduk, Tom Reichel, Jason Steen, James Vasey, and Mark Linloff. Ajax Company had one individual earn tool certification this year. Tom DeFolco. Action Bolton Tool also had one individual earn tool certification. Jacob McDonald. American Producer had one tool specialist and one operations specialist this year. Andrew Green. Gabe Davis. California Service Tool had two individuals earn tool certification. Caleb Darmoody and Eric Kerpusky. Colony Hardware covered all the bases this year with two tool specialists, two safety specialists, and one ops specialist. Tony Dawson, Juan Santillan, Dean Avery, Brian Vaccaro, Jeffrey Carr. Dara Company had two tool specialists this year. Jason Switzer, Jeremy Vaughn. Dixie Construction Products also had two tool specialists this year. Josh Bodush, Brett Matthews. Eric Savannah had one individual earn certification. John Burnett. Frank Supply also had one tool specialist. Daniel Uresti. Lincoln Contractors Supply had one of each this year. Brooks Benson, Dan Steinbrecher, and Brad Etzel. Morgan Tool minted a new tool specialist and a safety specialist. Ricky Legendre and Mike Cannon. PBC Industrial produced a new tool specialist, Shay Cooper. Slim's Power Tools had one individual become an ops specialist, Megan Okamura. Nefco Corporation produced another tool specialist, David Setsky. Tools and Accessories also had one of their team earn tool certification this year, Jeremy Chavez. Tool and Anchor also had an individual earn certification, Mike Gott. Last, but certainly not least, Total Tool produced 6 tool specialists, 2 safety specialists, and 1 operations specialist. Adam Jaworski, Josh Luter, Cole Mattingly, Mike Mears, Matt Mooney, Mark Vandenberg, Chris Jeffers, Ken Siprel, Darren Person. Please join me in recognizing a new class of Evergreen Certified Tool Specialists, Safety Specialists, Diamond Recipients, and Operations Specialists. Again, we hated to have to do this virtually. We want to give you guys the recognition that you deserve. It's a lot of work, and congratulations to each one of you. Now, before I wrap up, I have one final special recognition that I'd like to present. Most of you are aware that the driving force behind the start of Evergreen was Paul H. Connolly of Construction Tool Service. It was Paul who pulled the founders together and through a combination of badgering and persuasion got them to finally pull the trigger back in 1989. We lost Paul a couple of years ago, but we'll never forget him. To honor Paul, we have created the Paul H. Connolly Leadership Award. This award will be presented annually to Evergreen's board chairman. It's my pleasure to present it this year to Keith Turtenwald, our 2019-2020 chairman of the board. Keith.
Wow. Thank you, sir.
On behalf of a grateful organization, thank you for your leadership.
I encourage everybody to get involved in the organization. This is terrific. Thank you.
There's one last thing that normally at a live conference, the night before the conference kicks off, we have what we call the roast and toast. And typically what happens there is we bring in all of the former board members and we roast the departing board members. It's a lot of fun. It's a good social interaction. Of course, we're not doing that because of this distancing thing. But normally, Mark Patton would get up and make a presentation that spoofs all the departing board and ESAC members. Back in the day, Paul Connolly did that. We always had a lot of fun doing that. So we weren't able to do that this year with Keith, although he's got a lot of baggage that we could have actually piled on him quite a bit. But one of the things that we do, however, is we present a special gift.
Oh.
So, Keith, I know you have a place now in Phoenix area, as well as one here in Wisconsin, and we wanted to provide you some means of getting back and forth between your two locations. So on behalf of the organization, please accept that gift from us.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Very unexpected. Thank you.
This concludes our virtual ceremony. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us, 5 stars. We appreciate your participation, and we honestly cannot wait to see you again live at our 2021 Partnership Conference in Orlando, Florida.
Here, here.
Thank you again.
Stay safe, everybody.